to the marketplace. Now, labor exportation has been such a hot topic within the country. A lot of people are now interested, considering the rates of unemployment keeps on soaring, and maybe self-employment is not for you. Maybe there are chances out there. Here at TV47, we got the Principal Secretary of that State Department, Shadrack Mwadime, to give us an insight on how exactly this is working out and to answer some of the questions that you would have on that particular topic. Now, I'm seeing that a lot of comments are already coming in and a lot of questions for the PS. If you just allow me to ask you what Kenyans are asking. One of the Kenyans is asking, these jobs in Saudi Arabia for nurses, do I need to pay for an agency fee? How exactly do people go about it?
Okay, so there are two arrangements. There's G2G, where we've negotiated with the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we have secured some jobs for nurses, and particularly graduate nurses, because they are the most disadvantaged. The diploma holders somehow are able to secure employment in Kenya, but the graduate nurses have been having challenges. And therefore, we have negotiated with the government of Saudi Arabia. We have an opportunity of 2,500 graduate nurses who can be absorbed by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to work in public hospitals, government hospitals, not private hospitals, but government hospitals. And therefore, anybody who is interested can go to our website, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection website. You will see our advert. You can put in your application, and we'll be able to look into your papers. If all your papers are in order, then we will invite you for an interview and eventually allow you to go to Saudi Arabia. There are quite a number who have already gone, by the way. About a month ago, 27 went. But there are others also who are going to private hospitals, and also there are others who are being processed by private recruitment agencies. So it's the responsibility of this young Kenyan either to go to our website or alternatively to go to the National Employment Authority website. They will see the private recruitment agencies that have advertised for both government nursing jobs and also public nursing jobs. And they can apply, and they can, and I want to give a guarantee, particularly for nurses, you know, the anxiety that has been there concerning their rights, whether they are going to be trampled upon. The ones who have already gone are giving us testimonies, you know, because they have been there for quite a while, that the situation as it is okay. Because when you're working for the government, of course, in case anything happens, it will jeopardize our relations.
Right.
And therefore, I can give a guarantee that for those government jobs, they will be okay.
All right. Another question coming in is, uliza mkuu hizo agencies hao zinapatikana wapi? And maybe just to give clarification, there are so many agencies offering, you know, these opportunities to Kenyans. Some of them might not be the best. Some of them might be good. How exactly should Kenyans go about this?
Okay, so this is very, very important information that I should share with Kenyans. We have vetted the 1,000 and more, even maybe 1,100 private recruitment agencies that were there about 6-7 months ago. We have reduced the number to about 580 as a result of vetting them afresh. So Kenyans can access the National Employment Authority website. The ones whose status is okay are in black ink. The ones whose status is not okay, is wanting, are in red ink.
Right.
In other words, we are telling our young people, avoid these ones as much as possible. And then, finally, they should not deal with any private recruitment agency that is not registered with the National Employment Authority, Employment Authority, the parastatal that is under my charge. They should ensure that they are registered first. And we have insisted that these private recruitment agencies should display the licenses on the wall. So any Kenyan accessing a private recruitment agency office should first of all ask about the status of this agency in terms of its registration with NEA, National Employment Authority.
All right. Bwana PS, there was a question that came in on the same. A person was talking about ASMAC. I'm sure you're aware of it. They're asking, how does the State Department accept rogue agents to steal from job applicants? Some even do not have licenses, but they are the leaders of agencies. And they're also saying some agents with no licenses from NEA portal, NEA portal, is in red. Why do they allow them to operate freely, and some are the leaders leading those with the right documents?
We do not allow them to operate freely. The reality is, the moment we find a PRA is conning Kenyans, we raise that issue immediately with the security agencies, with the police, with the CID, because we work very closely with these security agencies. Indeed, they are part of the vetting committee.
Right.
So the moment we get these complaints, I had shared the toll-free number.
Right.
Kenyans should be able to access the National Employment Authority through that toll-free number. You are not supposed to pay anything for it, because that's critical information you are giving us to safeguard your interests. You know, so the moment we get this information, we share the same with the national, with the security agencies. And indeed, NEA has gone ahead and deregistered a number of recruitment agencies. And we've gone public, by the way, concerning it, so that Kenyans are not conned at all in any way.
So why are they still, within the market? Because a lot of people are saying that there are free agents who are still operating, taking cash from people. They don't even accept, bank transfers. How come they're still operating? How exactly can we regulate this even further?
We regulate them in two ways. One, as I said, in terms of their registration, but also we encourage self-regulation. So most of these PRAs are under an association. And we want to encourage these associations also to be, passing over information to Kenyans very, very loudly, so to say. They should be placing adverts possibly on print media, or alternatively on social media, saying a particular member, number this and this, is actually conning Kenyans, and therefore they have been suspended in terms of their membership in that association. That is the best that we can do. But you see, Kenyans are well informed, Kenyans are IT savvy. Really, it doesn't take too much for you to access the National Employment Authority portal and check whether the PRA is registered or not, or whether it was registered before, but it was found wanting, and that is the reason why it's on the red.
Right.
So Kenyans should not be gullible. We are calling upon them, and we are going out aggressively, by the way. We will go up to the grassroots level to talk to Kenyans, wherever they are, to tell them, look, just work with the ones that are registered. It's not difficult for you to know the ones that are registered. Access the portal. Right. The moment you access the portal, you'll get to know the genuine ones and the wanting ones. And we will do away with the wanting ones. So they can work with us. Right. Because if we starve them of business, they will just naturally close, But if we keep on giving them businesses, and they keep on conning us, because any business, the object is profit maximization, even if you're using uncouth ways, then we'll allow them to keep on thriving. Yeah.
Right.
So Kenyans should actually work closely with us.
So it should be the responsibility of the individual to make sure that those agencies pass, all the required steps so that they can operate within this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we're also putting an appeal to our security agencies. The moment we deregister them, it's their responsibility to ensure they close shop. It is their responsibility to ensure they no longer operate, because then they'll be operating illegally. All right. They don't have status to operate, legal status to operate. Why should they be allowed to continue operating? And we have strengthened, by the way, our inspectorate.
Right.
So we'll be going out more aggressively. We had challenges before in terms of our staff establishment. We didn't have enough officers. We have employed about 95 of them recently. And these are young people. So we'll be sending them out to inspect these agencies and find out whether they are registered or not, so that we can pass over this information to the police immediately. And we're working closely with the police so far. We have very cordial relations so far, and they have been of great assistance. And this has been even on electronic media and print media on the action that police is taking concerning some of these rogue agencies.
All right. Now, another question coming in from Haji Fadil is, why is Kenya not creating jobs for its citizens, which is possible if we just think out of the box?
Yes, I totally agree. First of all, it's our responsibility to ensure the economy expands so that we can absorb these young people. But I want to tell Abdi that there are models we are emulating. There are serious models we are emulating. South Korea, 30 years ago, had challenges. It was a third world country. What they did is they sent out their young people to work in Japan and to work in Germany, and some even went to Saudi Arabia. You know, Saudi benefited greatly from the expertise that came from South Korea in terms of industrialization. So they went out there, found technology as it was then, and brought it back home. And I want to cite an example of Japan. You know, the young people who went to Japan, they came back with technology on how to manufacture vehicles. As it is currently, the Hyundais that you see on the streets are of the same level as the Toyotas. You know, look at the electronic gadgets that we have, the smartphones, the Samsungs, you know, and what have you. This is as a result of them getting know-how from Japan, and they brought it back home. Now, I've said two things. Other than the know-how, there is the savings, you know, that these young people will bring back home. So they are like our frontline soldiers from an economic perspective. $4 billion US per year. And indeed, in accordance with the World Bank statistics, that is just 5% of the savings that Kenyans usually make out there in the diaspora. If we are to push them to even send back home 20%, how much money will be coming into our country? You know, the contracts that we want them to sign are short-term contracts, 3 years, 4 years, maximum 5 years, because we want them to come back home with the money that they would have saved to invest in our country with the know-how that they would have acquired. They will bring about industrialization in this country. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, and Abdi is right, we need to do the best that we can to make our economy expand. And that is the reason why we're making use of the examples that have been there before. Even China. China closed the economy about 40 years ago, you know, sent out their young people to Ivy League universities, the Harvards, the Yale in Canada and what have you. Then they came back home with that technology, and they were able to produce goods that can compete equally in the international market. But you see, China is a communist country. They could afford to close the economy. Kenya can't, because we are a democracy as it is. But we can still make use of the strategies that have been employed by other countries in order to succeed. So I'm telling Abdi, as he goes out there and as he earns, you know, the thousands in terms of dollars, you know, and what have you, and comes back home, he will come and invest. Even if he's constructing a house, you know, the materials will be sourced from within. So the person who is providing the materials will gain employment. The masons, the electricians, all those people who will be used to put up this building, to put up this house, will gain employment. But not only that, the business that he'll eventually establish, he will employ other Kenyans. So these frontline soldiers will still come back and create employment for their younger brothers and sisters. Won't the economy expand?
It would. Now, someone else is asking, kindly ask our PS how a friend of mine can get help and be brought back to the country. And, you know, there's a video of him sleeping in the streets, homeless in Dubai. This happens a lot with Kenyans, especially when, you know, their employment is terminated without, you know, being given any notice, and then they cannot come back because they don't have the kafala system kind of closes that option for them. How exactly can they navigate around that?
Yeah, that is a sad situation, and we know there are many Kenyans who have been duped. They have been told that they are going for highly skilled jobs abroad. They end up, you know, being cleaners and such, like unskilled, you know, labor, engaging in unskilled labor, and yet they are more than qualified. And some of them find themselves dissatisfied, you know, and therefore they leave these jobs and end up on the streets. So again, I want Kenyans to be careful. The reason why we are signing bilateral labor agreements is because we want labor mobility. to be in a structured and an orderly way and a safe way.
Right.
You know, I have to insist on that. But if they find themselves in that situation, as I said, our ambassadors, the Kenya administration ambassadors who are deployed recently have been given, you know, the mandate to ensure they take care of the welfare of Kenyans, unlike before.
Right.
So they should get in touch either with the National Employment Authority through the toll-free number or our labor attaches. We have a labor attache in UAE whom they can get in touch with. You know, and we're sending an additional one so that they can get in touch with them and we will seek ways on how to bring them back home. This is sad. It's a sad situation. Those pictures are not very good.
Right.
They are disheartening. And we don't want Kenyans to suffer. And therefore, we're encouraging Kenyans, particularly those who are being duped, to go to these countries using a visitor's visa. A visitor's visa means you are going there for a holiday, not to work. It will not be converted into a work permit. They should not cheat themselves. The work permit can only be issued from Kenya in the embassy of the country that they're intending to migrate to. You know, it will not be converted into a work permit. They should ensure that they go with a work permit and not a visitor's visa.
All right. A lot of other Kenyans, I'm seeing Wafula here, they're still asking for the site where they can apply for some of those jobs. And as you share that, there's about 300,000 Kenyans who are coming into the job market every single year. You know, our time is kind of wrapping up. 300,000, that's a huge number to deal with. Already the unemployment rate is quite high. It's nice to think that a lot of these people will be employed out of the country, but how exactly can we have homegrown solutions for them?
Okay, so two things. Number one, Kenyans can create an account at the National Employment Authority Integrated Management System. They should go to the NEA portal, create an account, upload their skills, and then match their skills with the job opportunities that are opening up. They would be invited for an interview. After they've gone through the interview successfully, they will be deployed abroad. So that is the best way for them to apply. I would rather they apply through the NEA portal rather than directly to some, you know, rogue private recruitment agencies that are advertising for these jobs on social media. I would rather they go to the NEA portal. That's number one.
Right.
But number two, coming back to our economy, because that is also my responsibility, even as I work with Treasury and as I work with other state departments. The best that we can do as of now, other than the jobs that we are creating, is to give out loans, you know, so that these young people can establish enterprises, either through the Youth Enterprise Fund or the fund that is managed by the State Department of Medium and Small Scale Enterprises, you know, so that they can apply for the loans and eventually use it as seed capital to establish their own enterprises.
Right.
That is number one. But number two, we're intending to come up with an internship policy because a number of young people say whenever they go for interviews, the first question that they ask is whether they have experience or not, and they're knocked out because of that. So we're intending to come up with an internship policy which will subject to all stakeholders to ensure that even private firms, because currently it's only government that is committed, you know, in giving internship opportunities to our young people. But we want to insist, even the private sector must give an opportunity for our young people to gain experience. So we are coming up with the internship policy, and somehow it will be a cure for the problem of experience that young people have always encountered whenever they go for interviews.
Right. P.S. And finally, of course, you do not only head labor issues, you also head skill development issues and upskilling of a lot of Kenyans. What exactly is happening on that front? What should Kenyans be looking forward to?
So what we're encouraging Kenyans to do, again, if they can go to our website and also the NEA portal, we want to do a skills inventory. We find out the kind of skills that Kenyans have. Because entrepreneurs, even in the country, have been complaining concerning the kind of graduates that we produce, that they do not match their expectations. So we want to do a comprehensive analysis to see where there are gaps, so that those gaps can inform change of curriculum. We can come up with curriculums that are going to be beneficial to our young people. It's not right for them to graduate and then we start complaining that the kind of degree they have undertaken, you know, is not employable. It is wrong. Yeah, so I want to insist that they should cooperate with us. We are going up to the grassroots level to carry out this inventory. You know, they can as well be able to appraise us concerning their skills on the NAIR portal and also our website so that we can collect this data and inform curriculum. Because that is the only way we are going to cure the problem of young people undertaking some certain degree courses and eventually end up not being employed. They must be as employable as possible. And that is the responsibility of government. So we are taking it up very seriously.
All right. A lot of people are requesting that you share the toll-free number once again so that they can jot it down themselves, because I feel it's very important. And we will also, I think, put it on, our screen on the scrolls. If you just read it for us, Bwana, please.
Okay. Once again, the toll-free number is 020 800 2223. That is 020 800 2223. And you can also get us on Twitter, on X, at Labour SPKE. You can also get us on Facebook, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. Or you can send an email to our address or email address, that's ps@labor.go.ke.
Right.
So there are various ways that Kenyans can communicate with us.
All right. Other than the socials, the number is, let me just repeat, 020 800 222223. Right? That's 020 800 222223. If anyone is in distress somewhere out of this country that you want to be helped by the government, you could just have that, and you could send some of the requests that you have to the ministry as well, so that they can deal with anything that happens that's not within the country. The embassies could come to help you. I know there are a lot of countries that Kenyans are working in that are not the safest at this moment, and in as much as we do not have, a lot of control on geopolitical issues, we could do our best to help Kenyans who are not within the country. And thank you so much, PS Mwadime, for even sharing that for the public. That would be the end of this particular interview. Thank you so much for engaging me, and thank you so much for sending some of your questions. It was adamant that we go through some of these things. There are opportunities. You could dare abroad, but dare carefully. Try to find, jobs that are within the realm of reason. Do not go for things that are too good to be true. They say that, all that glitters is not gold. So be very careful. Thank you so much once again for joining us for this conversation. This has been The Marketplace. Until next week, where we delve into matters that concern you, your business, and the way you earn your living. That's good night from us. Have yourselves a very lovely night. And on sign language interpretation tonight has been Irene Chebi Watt. Have yourselves a very lovely evening.